सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, कर ले बंदे ये शुभ काम, कर ले बंदे ये शुभ काम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, शिव आएंगे तेरे काम, शिव आएंगे तेरे काम। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। खुद को राख लपेटे फिरते, खुद को राख लपेटे फिरते, औरों को देते धन धान, औरों को देते धन धान। देवों के हित विष पीड़ा ले, देवों के हित विष पीड़ा ले। नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम, नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम, नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम, नीलकंठ को कोटि प्रणाम। सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, सुबह सुबह ले शिव का नाम, शिव आएंगे तेरे धाम, शिव आएंगे तेरे धाम। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। We will sing from Navadha Bhakti Kaho to Hi. That is the main part where Navadha Bhakti teaching begins. So this is before Doha number 35 if you have Rāmacharitamānas. But if you are looking at the PDF, then it is page number 2. Page number 2. We'll sing one Chaupadi, one Doha, then it will be disclosed, and I'll give you a cue for the next one. Did you find it? Navadha Bhakti. Lead and repeat. Navadha Bhagati Kaho Tohi Pahi. Navadha Bhagati Kaho Tohi Pahi. Savadhana Mana Sunu Dharmani. Savadhana Sunu Dharmani. Pradama Bhagati Santan Kara Sangha. Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. Gurupad Pankaj Seva. Tisari Bhagati Amara. Chauthi Bhagati Mama Gunagana. Karai Kapat Tajika. Karai Kapat Tajika. Siyavar Rāmachandra ki jai. Pavan Sut Hanuman ki jai. Umaapati Mahadev ki jai. Bhai Sab Santan ki jai. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. When we start analyzing our life, a person comes to realize that there are so many situations we are presented with, and situation comes without asking us. It comes without asking, goes also without asking. And when it comes, I have no choice but to accept it. So whenever we realize or we start analyzing life, we understand that as far as results are concerned, I am a recipient, not a chooser. More I come to terms with this, easier it is to go through it, easier is my journey. And as far as actions are concerned, there also I am contributor, not controller. We should do an exercise where you can take out your phone and take out. Turn it off. Not on silent, turn it off. Nobody misses us. We think, if we are not available for an hour, and show it to your neighbor. Let your friend talk. One of our Swamiji would say, Kasya balakah rodati. Whose child is crying? This is also a child. In between it starts crying. Everybody good? I will also make sure. Yes. When we see that results are given to us, as far as actions are concerned, we are only contributors. That becomes our first step in recognizing the contribution of God in our life. Otherwise, Bhagwan sometimes remains like a concept for many people. Unless you make that connection between God and my life. Our wholehearted quest for Bhagwan, gratitude for Bhagwan, all of that will be not thorough. So this part we had seen. Then we saw the life of Shabriji. What were those qualities because of which Bhagwan Rama came to our ashram? Because we were thinking or discussing about Navadha Bhakti, 9 forms of devotion. This is going to be the teaching given by Bhagwan Rama to Shabriji. But why did he come only to her ashram? So Shabriji served her guru, Matanga Rishi, for several years without any desire for recognition and appreciation. Any sadhaka who lives life like this, thinking about Bhagwan, doing his duty, Bhagwan says, I start thinking about that sadhaka. What does he say in Bhagavad Gita? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate. Tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Those people who think of me wholeheartedly, think of me means they are restless for Bhagwan. They really want Bhagwan. Whenever mind goes here and there, they feel very sad. Such devotees, Bhagwan says, I take care of their material well-being and also spiritual well-being. To get conviction in Vahamyam takes long time. Vahamyam means I carry whatever they need and I give it to them. Many times our problem is, Bhagwan also says Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Life Insurance Corporation also says Yogakshemam Vahamyam. I think this audience will know what is Life Insurance Corporation. They also have this tagline. Means we got you covered. That is true. But true surrender brings a lot of carefreeness. Whenever we think about future, at that time getting this conviction that I don't have to get anxious about my future. Either my own future or future of near and dear ones. Mostly it is only these two. Many times it is not even our future. Wherever we are attached, there we will get concern, anxiety, fear. On the strength of devotion, having that faith in Bhagwan. So Shabriji did that sincere sadhana, not expecting anything from anybody, not even recognition, appreciation. Then Matanga Rishi told her, just take Bhagwan's name, Bhagwan Rama will come. She did that sincerely. Bhagwan came to her ashram. She had prepared everything for Bhagwan. Did not run at the last minute. Everything was kept ready. Sometimes it happens during puja time, Right when you start puja, you realize Naivedyam is not here. And suddenly you call people, Agarbatti is not there, something is not there. she was very well prepared. When Bhagwan came, directly she started doing stuti of Bhagwan. Finally she says, I am a very ordinary person, don't have a lot of knowledge. I don't have a lot of intelligence to sing your glory also. Bhagwan says, sometimes that can become a barrier. If you are too logical, if you start questioning things too much, questioning with faith is very much encouraged. Questioning minus faith can keep our mind preoccupied but not take us anywhere. So Bhagwan says, if you want to build sambandha with me, connection with me, I don't look at where you were born. Jati, Pati, Kula. Dharma also I don't look, what kind of work you have done. I don't look at your wealth. I don't look at your strength. All I look for is, do you love me or not? Mano eka bhagati karanata. The only thread for connecting with God is love for God, which even a child can have. A person who is not very well versed in Sanskrit or scriptures, that person can also have. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his way of communicating was through thumb impression. Means even to sign his name, he was not very familiar. He would put his thumb impression. But as far as love for God is concerned, always in ecstatic mode. Mano eka bhagati karanata. Then Bhagavan starts elaborating on what are the 9 forms of devotion. He said, if you want to grow on the path of devotion, if you want to increase your devotion, follow these 9 steps. Nowadays they have this package courses, right? 5 steps to calm mind. 15 days, something we will have. Mind-related things in short time. Like these are 9 steps to devotion. 9 facets of devotion. First one is Pratama Bhagati Santana Karasanga. Wherever we get satsang, there we should go and make sure we are hearing whatever is being presented by Santa Mahatmas. They have done the hard work to compose so many things. Our job is just to listen and benefit from their work. Santa is a title which is coming with lot of hard work. We saw that yesterday. Santa is not somebody through external appearance becomes his Santa. Somebody who has lived a life where he can absorb everything from this world but give back only good things. That person is called as a saint. So a saint can be in any place. He can be in any ashrama. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. 4 ashramas are there. So a Santa Purusha is not necessary, is only in Sannyasa ashrama. Whoever has this ability to take different experiences from the world and give back good, that person is called as Santa. Now that Santa, if he has knowledge, then we can benefit from the knowledge also. You will have so many Santa Mahatmas who are very noble people, but they will never teach. That desire to teach is only not there. So you might go and be in their proximity, but you will not benefit from what they know. For that, they have to have this desire to compose something, to express something. Tapoji Maharaj has composed so many texts, but many of them are unknown to us. We know very few of it. Because they were least concerned. Who reads it, who doesn't read it. Out of their joy, they will compose. So satsang is tuning our mind to their teachings. Tuning our mind to the teaching of saint is called as satsang. It will remove all erroneous notions and slowly start forming an image of God in our heart. See, in Balvihar also, we teach so many stories. What are we doing? We are actually sculpting an image of God in the child's heart. So it enters through the ears and slowly it starts forming the image of Bhagavan. What is his nature? How does he interact with devotees? How does he shower his grace on devotees? All of that is part of satsang. When conviction is there, when you've heard about somebody, you get a desire to know more about that person. You must have read in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Rukmini ji wants to marry Bhagavan Krishna. Rukmini ji wants to marry Bhagavan Krishna. She has never seen him before. But her desire to get Bhagavan Krishna is so strong. That desire came because she heard about Bhagavan Krishna. So through Shravanam, our Varnam strengthens. Varnam means choice. Because in Marathi, Varan means Nag. In one place I kept on saying Varanam, 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 assuming that they will know. Later on one person said, Varanam means what? In Marathi it means Nag. Varanam means whatever you want to choose, single-pointedly. If a person comes to choose God, he said it happened because he did Shravan. Pratama Bhavati Santanakara Sangha. Second one is Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. Now after you start doing satsang, a stage comes when you start enjoying that satsang. In the beginning it is, you drag yourself to satsang. Because somebody has told you, you don't want to disappoint that person. Somehow or the other you came. But slowly what happens is, you start enjoying it. In the beginning, after every 10 minutes, you see the watch. It happened once, one young couple, they came. We were doing some Upanishad or something. And sometimes people come in the middle of a text and they expect they will understand everything. Or they expect that you will summarize from the beginning. Like that for every group, if you keep summarizing, you will forever be in summary. So this couple came and sat. And it was 1 hour session. After half an hour, slowly turned back. The clock was behind. Slowly turned back and so on. Then after every 10 minutes, she would turn back and say. Then I asked her after the session, both of them came to bow down. I said, what were you looking behind so many times? Then she realized I noticed it. And she was getting tired because she was seeing the watch. I said, no, Sohamji, your talk was so good. We didn't want it to end. I was seeing, I hope there is more time left. The thing is, there is a stage when we drag ourselves to satsang. But a stage comes when we ourselves crave for satsang. Even if you have to drive an hour to go to satsang, that person will go. You keep the class early morning 6 o'clock, he will show up. Because now it is not only Shravanam, there is Rati happening in Shravanam. Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. Rati means what? reveling, getting delight in that subject, such that mind effortlessly goes towards that subject. We end up doing only that thing in which we get delight. If that rati is there, nobody needs to push us. We ourselves will go and find it. It is just like, how do people enjoy music? Or what is a person who enjoys music called as? A rasika. You heard that word? Sangeeta rasika. Means what? He is not only hearing it, but he is getting rasa. He is getting joy in that music. It didn't happen overnight. How did that rasa come? So one is, he was listening to it regularly. This is from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. If you want to get delight in any subject, what is it that we should do? Keep in touch, keep doing it regularly. Whatever thing we keep dropping very quickly, or we do it sporadically, in that thing we don't get rasa. If you want to get rasa in meditation, the secret is do it regularly. Second is do it for a sufficiently long time. Do it for sufficiently long time. Don't expect quick results. So I started meditating since 1 week and still my mind doesn't settle down. You see, it can take several years for mind to appreciate meditation, for mind to get rasa in meditation. Do it regularly, do it for a long time, and third is have reverence for it while doing it. Don't look down upon whatever practice you are doing, and don't feel it's a very small thing that I'm doing. Satu Nairantarya Dirghakala Satkara Sevita Druda Bhumi. This is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Nairantarya means regularly. Dirghakala, for a long time. Satkara Sevita means done with reverence. Whatever is done this way, in that thing we get rati. We get delight. I had heard about one king. His name was Wajid Shah. He used to rule over Lucknow. He was known to be a great rasika of music. Had a very fine taste for music. One day he wanted one sitar player to come and play in his court. Sitar player to come and play in his court. They said, Maharaj, this sitar player is a very top grade player. We will have to go by his conditions. You will come and play, but whatever he says, we will have to accept. He said, okay, ask him what he wants. That sitar player said, I will come and perform in your court. But the audience who are sitting, they should not move their head. Even a little. If they do, then the punishment is cut off the head. Dangerous, huh? Fly comes and sits here, you cannot move. So he comes to the court. Now king says, generally they would expect thousands of people. He said, with this kind of condition, I wonder who would come. But still, a few hundred people showed up. They still showed up. King was surprised. Concert began. And the sitar player started playing, started tuning the sitar. And as he got into the ragas, it was so melodious. What do they say? Soul-stirring music. And when he reached that tan, few people who were there started swaying. king was ready to give that order. Because he had given his word to him, he was ready to give that order. The sitar player, he said, wait for some time, let me complete it. Then he completed his piece and he said, those people who swayed, stay back, others can go. Now other people thought, finally we got our satisfaction of music. Now poor people who swayed their heads, they are in trouble now. But the sitar player, he said, these are true rasikas. These are those people who have found rasa in music. In spite of knowing their head is going to get cut off, they forgot themselves. Whatever art form makes us forget ourselves, in that we have developed rasa. Forgetting ourselves means ego becoming smaller. And then he started playing some special piece only for those people. Because they were true rasikas. Now this is an example, okay? We are not discussing rasa in music. Just like you can get rasa in music, a person can get rasa in Bhagwan's katha. Whenever he listens to Bhagwan's leelas, his mind gets absorbed in it so much that he forgets himself. It is said Bhagwan sends Uddhavji to Gokul to meet Nanda Baba and Yashodaji. When Uddhavji goes back, it is said after Bhagwan Krishna left, Yashodaji did not speak. She would just sit in a place and keep remembering Bhagwan, looking at that place. And with our Nanda Baba, whole night he sits along with Uddhavji, least concerned whether he is there or not, constantly remembering what all things Bhagwan did in his Bala Leela. This is where he played, this is where he did this is where he did that. And he was so absorbed that whole night goes by in Katha. In fact, entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is for this purpose. Dusare rati mama katha prasanga. Whenever Bhagwan does some leelas, the purpose of that leela is our mind should get absorbed in the Lord. There is one leela that Bhagwan does with a fruit seller. Do you all know that story? He goes, because the fruit seller has come to his home, he goes outside, little boy, baby Krishna, just walking somewhere or the other, balancing himself. And this fruit seller, she was having pomegranates. She looks at Bhagwan Krishna, her heart melts. Such a tiny boy, so sweet. She peels one pomegranate, takes the seeds, and gives in Bhagwan's hands. Bhagwan, tiny little hands, he holds it, but by the time he is ready to eat, it all falls off. Then she feels even more love towards Bhagwan. Takes out some more, gives it, and doesn't take any money. Then when she turns back, her whole basket of fruits has turned into gold. Bhagwan says, you thought of me, you don't have to think about anything else in life. His leelas one by one, if you sit and discuss in Srimad Bhagavatam, this is such a joy. That is why it is important to have Ishta Devata. When you have it, then we want to know more about Bhagwan. It is just like if you have a reverence towards some person, let us say. Somebody's talk you heard somewhere, and you really connected with their talk. don't we get this desire to know more about how that person got this kind of a lifestyle, got this kind of knowledge? We will want to know more about where they live, what kind of books do they read, what sadhana do they do, and when difficulties came in their life, how did they respond? Think about any speaker whom we have connected with. Naturally, we want to know more about them. In the same way, if we have Bhagavan whom we love, the natural step is we want to know more about Bhagavan. That is called as Rati. Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. If you take Bhagavan Rama doesn't do too much of Leela. He is Maryada Purushottam. Always on the path of Dharma. But there is one portion in Rāmacharitamānas, in Balakanda, when Bhagavan is coronated as Yuvaraja, when he is told he will become the prince designate or king designate, he doesn't start celebrating. You know what thought comes to his mind? He says, all four brothers, we were born almost at the same time. We grew up together, we played together, we ate together. But when it comes to becoming the king, why only the eldest one is made the king and all others become regular citizens? He says in our Raghukula, everything is good except this point. And Goswamiji says, by reflecting upon this thought of Bhagavan Rama, may the limitations of our mind get washed away. Whatever kutilata can be there in our mind, may that get washed away by reflecting upon this Leela of Bhagavan Rama. So this sadhaka is somebody who is not only doing satsanga, but he has started getting delight in satsanga. Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. Now when he is doing satsang, started getting delight, what happens to him? He gets another desire to go and systematically study from a teacher. It is said, don't take it in the wrong sense. It is said when we do sporadic satsang, means you hear something today, next you hear something after 1 month, then after another month. It creates some knowledge, but it is called as apatata jnana. Apatata jnana means preliminary knowledge. It is just like you have showers, sporadic showers. Now it showers, after 1 month again it comes. Some grass will grow, but you cannot have good crop. If you need good crop, what do we need? Good shower. For a long time, good amount of rain, that will bring those crops. In the same way, if we want clarity and depth in knowledge, what we need is thorough shravana for a long period of time and systematic shravana. Many of you must have attended some retreat somewhere, spiritual retreat. Do you feel there is a difference attending classes during the day once and going and attending a retreat somewhere else, where you are fully immersed, staying there and listening? Have you felt any difference? Which one is more impactful? Immersive experience is always more impactful. That is the result of, or that is this third devotion of Guru Upasati. Committing time to systematically listen from a teacher. Guru Pada Pankaja Seva Tisari Bhagati Aman. if you have to learn from a teacher, what we need is seva. Not because Guru needs seva. We need to serve Guru because we want the benefit of seva. Benefit of seva is we get to observe the teacher very closely. We get to see how do they carry themselves, how do they respond, how do they go through their daily routine, challenges which might come their way. Have you all read the book Every Breath a Teaching? If you are not, I would highly encourage you to read. It's a compilation of anecdotes in Gurudev's life. If you want to open up this verse, Guru Pada Pankaja Seva, Tisari Bhagati Amana, you will find several anecdotes in that book. Means how Gurudev would respond to different people. That itself became a sadhana for many of us. Means even now it can become a sadhana. We can read and benefit. If you were there in person, directly we could see and benefit. There is one youngster who comes to Gurudev and he says, I want to get into the Guinness Book of World Record. Gurudev said, very good, you want to get into Guinness Book of World Record. What are you doing? He said, I'm multiplying numbers. Somewhere this thought got into his head, I will multiply and come up with the biggest number that I have multiplied. You see, youngster has so much of potential. Somewhere this thought got into his head and he's trying to do this. Now somebody can directly say, what are you doing with this? Why are you wasting your time? Don't do this. But what Gurudev did is, he said, you multiply numbers? Very good. I want to autograph your book. Can I? He said, yes, Gurudev, please autograph. And then he wrote, you have multiplied enough. Now multiply the goodness within you. You have multiplied enough. Now multiply the goodness within you. The point is, how sensitive they are while talking to people. Because he knows it's a youngster. If he has come with so much of enthusiasm, you cannot dampen it right away. But at the same time, you have to guide. So all these things are learned through observation. Guru Seva gives us that benefit, that blessing actually. Another thing about Guru Seva is, for Guru to reach at certain point, they have travelled a long journey. To be what they are today, they have travelled a long journey. In Hindi they say, बहुत पापड़ बेलने पड़े और बाल धूप में नहीं सफेद हुए. Right? Means what? This white grey hair has not ripened only because of sun. Lot of experiences we have gone through, because of which we have reached at this point. So a student who can tune with his Guru can start his journey from where the Guru is right now. A student who can tune his mind to the Guru can start his journey on the shoulders of his Guru, who reached there after several years of hard work. Now his job is to take it further. He can start from that point and go further in his journey. But how did he get this 20 plus years of hard work of his Guru onto him? Just through seva. Observing the teacher, being with the teacher, tuning the mind with the teacher. Guru Pada Pankaja Seva, Tisari Bhagati Amana. What is the slippery slope or the pitfall while serving? Pride. Seva is something, whoever does it will always be recipient of some kind of power. Even if it is somebody at home, somebody comes to help at home, if that person helps sincerely, that person can scold the master also. Seva is something which will make that person be very, very trusted person. Now what we do with that trust depends upon that sadhaka. He can use that power to bring more people closer to his Guru. Or he can use that power to keep everybody away from his Guru. Both examples are there. Who is the example of using the power to bring people closer? Hanumanji. The most trusted sevak of Bhagwan Rama. Whatever Hanumanji said, Bhagwan Rama blindly followed. But having all that power, what did he do? Brought Vibhishanji from Lanka, connected him with Bhagwan Rama. He said, my master is so great that if you come to him and surrender, wholeheartedly he will accept. Why do you doubt? That is good example. What is other example of what one should not be? Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya and Vijaya, they also were great devotees of the Lord. So much so that they got Salokya Mukti. There are different types of Mukti. One Mukti is called as Salokya Mukti. Means you get to stay in the same world as Bhagwan. Samikya Mukti means you get to become different ornaments of Bhagwan. You get to be very, very close to Bhagwan. Sarupya Mukti means you get the same form as Bhagwan. Although not exactly what he can do, but appearance is the same. So all these different types of muktis are there, and they are not ordinary liberations. If somebody has gone to Vaikuntha Loka and been in the Loka of Bhagwan, Vishnu, it means they have already done a lot of tapasya. But in spite of going there, they had this pride that we are the sevaks. If anybody has to go inside, they have to take our permission. One day Lakshmi Devi came and they stopped Lakshmi Devi also. If Bhagwan is taking rest right now, you cannot go inside. Lakshmi Devi said, my own house to go inside? I have to take your permission. She was very upset. She went inside, complained to Bhagwan Vishnu. Bhagwan Vishnu said, I know them. But see, right now, if I take any decision to dismiss them, people will feel I am taking your side. You wait for some time. Anybody who has this thought, they will get results of their action. So then Sanat Kumaras, one day they come. There are 4 very young rishis. What they do is, one person becomes speaker, all the other 3 become listener. After some time, the speaker goes and sits, another person comes. They start again, second discussion. Constantly they are in satsang. And they have a lot of power. Because of their tapasya, a lot of power they had. Our Jaya and Vijaya, they stop Sanat Kumaras. He said, right now you cannot go inside, wait for some time. And the Sanat Kumaras, they say, your thought right now is of pride. May that same thought teach you the right lesson. may that thought of pride teach you the fallacy of pride, may it teach you the right lesson. How will it happen? He said, may you be born as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. That is how Jaya and Vijaya become Ravana and Kumbhakarna. They are actually born thrice. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Shishupala and Dantavartya, and then Ravana and Kumbhakarna. But Bhagavan says, if my guards are going down, he said, I myself will come to do their uddhara, to bring them back. So Bhagavan also takes avatar. But the point is, whenever we do seva, the biggest danger in seva is abhimana. He says, Guru Pada Pankaja seva is good, but it should be without man. Tisari Bhagati Aman. Guru seva is actually a very elaborate topic. We just saw a few pointers. What does Guru seva do? It tunes our mind with our Guru, and it can make us start from that point where the Guru is right now. Later on, Bharatji says in Rāmacharitamānas, seva dharma is not easy. Whenever you want to do seva, what gets sacrificed right in the beginning is personal comfort. You cannot say, if Guru says, can you get some glass of water? He said, not right now. Our Mahatma Ji would tell a story. There was a lazy disciple. He asked him, can you see whether it is raining outside right now? He said, the cat is coming inside, just stroke it. You will get to know whether it is raining or not. He asked him, can you close the door? Anyway, we have roof. Why do we need to close the door? And third thing, something Guru asked. He said, 2 out of the 3 things I did. Now third thing you only do. He says, the disciple cannot be having any agenda of his own. If Guru calls at 4 a.m., he is doing puja. Prasad should be ready at 5 a.m. He said, I will be there. But what happens is, what this disciple would have struggled to get, that he gets in his life effortlessly. To remove tamoguna means inertia, indolence, is so difficult. If sadhaka could struggle with it, can struggle with it for a long time, yet be unsuccessful. But if that sadhaka is in seva, Guru will make sure that he is never in tamoguna. Now sometimes, many people struggle with food habits. Some people are vegetarian, some might be non-vegetarian. For a long time they try to struggle, try to give it up, but they cannot. But if they are in the proximity of the Guru, a simple command from the teacher can make them drop it. And whenever they are there, just because of their proximity, they might not go towards it anymore. Means those things which they would have struggled to get, that they will get just through seva. Guru Pada Pankaja Seva, Tisari Bhagati Aman. Then fourth one was Chauthi Bhagati Mama Gunagana Karai Kapata Tajigana. After he does Guru Upasakti, goes and studies from a teacher, now he is doing pravachan. Pravachan doesn't always mean formal setup. Even if you are discussing glories of Bhagavan with a child, that is also pravachan only. whatever is expressed very well, systematically, and with faith, that speech is called as pravachana. Prakarshena uchyate iti pravachana. Prakarshena means very well, if Bhagwan's story is elaborated, that is called as pravachana. Otherwise you will feel, this is not for us, I never knew pravachana. He says, no, whenever you talk to anybody about God, that is pravachana. But what is he careful about in pravachana? He doesn't have any kapata. Kapata means, have you heard the word kapata? Kapat means what? Closet or a cupboard. What do you use a closet for? Store. I asked this in other satsang, many of them said to hide. If somebody is coming home and you quickly need to clean up, take everything, put it in the closet. We'll worry about it later. So that thing which hides is called as kapata. Kapata word also comes from that. A person who doesn't have any hidden motives. Having hidden motives is called as kapata. So while giving pravachan, his main goal is to please Bhagwan. He says no other hidden agenda, no other kapata. Now what could be the kapata in pravachan? He said one kapata could be, this person is seeking something else through pravachan. It could be some recognition, some appreciation. Intention is not to please God. Externally it will look the same. Intention we can never judge externally. It is known only to that person. Ramakrishna Paramhamsi, he would illustrate this point with a story. He said there was a goldsmith. Whenever anybody came to his shop, he would have different people stationed. The moment you enter his shop, somebody will say loudly, Gopala, Gopala. You go a little bit further. No, first one will say Keshava, Keshava. Little bit further he will say Gopala, Gopala. Third person will say Hari Hari, Hari Hari. Fourth person will say Hara Hara, Hara Hara. 4 different names of God. Now anybody who comes inside, they would feel, oh, such a pious goldsmith. Bhagwan's name right at the beginning, Keshava, Keshava. Go a little further, Gopala, Gopala. Hari Hari, Hari Hari. Hara Hara, Hara Hara. But actually it was their code language. Whenever a new customer comes, this goldsmith will ask, Keshava, Keshava, how are they, how are they? He said, they are as innocent as a calf. Gopala, Gopala. Can I loot? Hari Hari, Hari Hari? Of course, Hara Hara, Hara Hara. He would say, intention you cannot know through appearance. So a person who has pure intention, only to please God, and not seeking anything through that pravachan, he said that will become a form of bhakti. All this is bhakti. Listening to satsang is bhakti. Getting delight is devotion. Tuning with teacher, doing seva is bhakti. And sharing these ideas sincerely, that is also bhakti. So wherever we are sharing it, that's why I said pravachan, don't take it only a formal setting. even if you are talking to friends in Bal Vihar. Bal Vihar is also one form of pravachan. Many of you would agree, if you have to teach one class, how much preparation you have to do. First of all, you have to be convinced about that subject matter. And you have to reflect upon it. Whatever we have thought, that we can systematically present. In English, they have a phrase, right? Thinking out loud. I'm speaking, but we say, I'm thinking out loud. When there is a connection between thinking and speaking. If you want to speak systematically, the prerequisite is you have to think systematically. Have you heard the word vichara? Vichara, if you open it up, it means viparita charana. Viparita charana means if you came from point A to point B, you should be able to go from point B to point A. Means chain of thoughts. Whenever you elaborate on any topic, we should know where we started and where we are right now. Otherwise, we wonder, topic is one. We started somewhere. Right now, where are we? What is the connection between all of that? So, pravachan is one platform where we can arrange our thoughts. And whether others benefit or not, we will benefit. Even if somebody dozes off, still there is benefit. Means Sushupti Avastha is considered as greatest form of bliss. So you have become an instrument in somebody getting that supreme bliss. It happened to me once. One Amma, when I was in Goa, she would come and sit right in the first chair. Moment I would say Om Sahana Bhavatu, she would doze off. And wake up right in Purnamita. Until this point was okay. But after the talk, she will come and say, Sohamji, your talk was so good. Then I realized at home she was having so much trouble sleeping. So she would come, nicely doze off. Sushupti Avastha. So pravachan is that which will help us arrange our thoughts and benefit from whatever we have heard. So one kapata could be intentions not being pure. Second form of kapata can be we ourselves don't believe in what we are speaking. That is another kapata. So it is said, whatever we are sharing, we might be imperfect in living up to it. But at least our conviction should be there in that thing. If conviction is not there, then that kind of sharing will be called as kapata. And you see sometimes there are so many topics, ideologies people speak about, which they themselves are not convinced. But they will want you to be convinced. Some social topic, some different issues which are there. They will go on saying so many things. But their conviction is not in that. One mother came to Mahatma Gandhiji with a complaint that her child eats a lot of sweets. Gandhiji says, come after 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks she comes and he tells that boy, from today onwards, don't eat sweets. He said, if you had to tell this only, you could have told 2 weeks ago. That time he said, I was also eating sweets. If I am eating it, I have no right to tell the child, don't eat. Imagine, what would that mindset be? Means I am having it, but I am telling the other person the limitations of eating sweet. Is it that? Different types of you can see whenever you look at it. Not to judge anybody, but to just understand that we should not be in that category. If you go to universities, many of them will be talking different school of thoughts. They can explain Sankhya Darshana, explain Yoga Darshana, explain Vedanta also. But if you ask them, which school of thought do you subscribe to? They say none of it. You should keep your thinking open. They take pride in it. You see, if you are sharing something, do it with conviction. Chaudhi bhavati mama gunagana karai kapata tajikana. Last form of kapata can be misinterpreting scriptures. If we have certain agenda that you want to communicate, you can always pick the relevant verses, relevant quotations, and try to say whatever you want to say through that scripture. Whereas the true purpose is you learn from Sampradaya and you interpret that scripture according to the tradition. You might come up with your own ways of presenting it, but you cannot change the fundamental meaning of that scripture. Do you know how many commentaries are there on Bhagavad Gita? 600 plus commentaries. Commentaries means not traditional commentaries. So many people have written their own views on Bhagavad Gita. And some places you will see, they will say Bhagavad Gita talks about war. Bhagavad Gita talks about war. Whereas Bhagavad Gita doesn't have anything to do with war. Does Bhagavan Krishna talk about any strategy, war strategy in Bhagavad Gita? How to arrange your army, formations. Context happens to be war. But Bhagavad Gita per se is about Upanishad. So if somebody interprets Bhagavad Gita as a textbook on war, he says that is kapata. Or Ramayana, sometimes they will take. And Rāmacharitamānas, just like we saw on Chaupai, Adhamati Adhama Adhamati Nari. They will hold on to these Chaupais. And they will write so many articles, so much of criticism will be there on Goswami Tulsidas. He said that was never the main message. If you want to learn about it, learn from those who are authorities on this. Don't have your own opinion to interpret scriptures. There is one book called as Manasa Piyush. Manasa Piyush. Every chaupai is made of two lines. On every 2 lines, they have written 5 pages. So it's like an encyclopedia of Rāmacharitamānas. Whichever Mahatma has commented on Rāmacharitamānas, all of that has been compiled in one place. And when you read it, it's mind-boggling. How much they have thought, how much they have gone deeper into every word of Rāmacharitamānas. All the cross connections, just like a thriller. You realize, oh, this word is here because of this reason. So from authority, we should get clarity. Not our own interpretation, that will become kapata. Okay. 3 things we saw on kapata. What was the first one? No kapata means intention should be pure. When we are sharing it for the sake of presenting the right ideas, pleasing Bhagavan. Second is, our conviction should be there. If we always say, I will share only when I become perfect, we will never be able to share anything. When will that stage come? It's in the midst of imperfection. For our own mind, we should keep on sharing. Whatever we can digest, it will happen through sharing only. Even Bal Vihar, if you are teaching, you will realize, if you have taught the same thing multiple times, new things start opening up. You must have heard that story of a king who wanted to test the ministers. Who is the wisest of them? He gives them 3 monkeys. All 3 look similar. And he tells them, tell me what is the difference between 3 monkeys? Similar looking monkeys, 3 of them, small ones. One minister comes, he sees, there is no difference. Second person comes, he says, no difference. Then the third minister, he comes, he says, give me 1 day, I want to spend time with these monkeys. He spends 1 day. Next day he comes, he says, there is a difference. So what is the difference? I put a thread through this monkey. In one monkey, it went from this ear, came out from this ear. In second monkey, it went through here, came out through here. In third monkey, it just stayed inside, didn't come out. This is, it represents 3 types of speakers. Or 3 types of sadhakas. First category, you tell them whatever you want to tell. It will go in from here, go out from here. Second is even more dangerous. It will come here and it will quickly come as advice. Means whenever we study something, it is there with all of us, and we just have to appreciate it and try to grow out of it. Whenever we hear something, what is the first thought that comes? At this point, I will share with this person. This point, I am going to tell that person. The best way is listen and reflect. Nothing wrong with sharing. But that sharing is also for our own clarity. Goswami Tulsidas says, I am composing Rāmacharitamānas because when I heard from my teacher, I had a lot of doubts. I did not listen carefully. My mind was a little chanchala. Now, when I am composing it, I will get a lot of clarity and depth. Bhasha baddha karabi mein soi, more mana prabodha jini hoi. I am composing this in words such that I get clarity in this knowledge. Second, he says, Swanta Sukhaya Tulasi Raghunatha Gatha. I am composing this because I want to manifest that joy in my own heart. Swanta Sukhaya. Who reads it, who doesn't read it, I am least concerned. Who appreciates, who criticizes, I am least concerned. And third reason he says, Nija Gira Pavana Karana Karana Rama Jasa Tulasi Gayo. Whenever we speak, our mind starts tuning with our speech. If we say good things about Bhagavan, our mind also will get tuned to Bhagavan. With children we say that, right? If they use some language that we don't use at home, what is the first thing we ask? Where did you hear it? If you are saying something, that means your mind is thinking about something. Just like it works for negative things, it works also for positive things. He says, more I can sing Bhagavan's glory, greater is the purity of my mind. Okay, 4 forms of devotion are done. Now let us just chant the remaining part, mantra japa onwards. From 1 to 4 was some kind of action. 5th devotion onwards is not some kind of action. Rather, you can say 5th devotion is subtler form of action. 6th one onwards is more of personality. What is the personality of this devotee? That starts from 6 through 9. Mantra japa mama drudha viswasa, panchama bhajana supeda prakasa. 5th form of devotion is he starts doing mantra japa. Now mantra japa compared to all other sadhanas, it is subtle. See, when we do bhajan, we have so much of support. Harmonium is there, tabla is there, mandira is there, tunes keep changing. But mantra japa is not like that. Same mantra, same prayer, you have to constantly repeat. No variety also. Means now, this sadhaka's mind has become subtler. From lot of action, is shifting towards contemplation. In fact, the result of doing actions well is that it will prepare us for contemplation. If actions become such that our mind is unfit for contemplation, that means that action has not served us well. See, we say in Karma Yoga, we should practice values. Correct? We say we should be truthful, we should be kind, honest, compassionate. Now, why do we practice all these values? It is not to do good to the world outside. That is not the only reason. We practice these values such that after the work is done, we can forget about that work. Means that work doesn't linger on, that transaction doesn't linger on after it is done. Any transaction you take for that matter. If you met a friend, if that interaction was rooted in values, means all values were the foundation. Simple, just take one value. You were truthful, let us say. A person who is truthful, after the transaction is done, he doesn't have to think. It has almost left him. His mind is available now to do something else. But let us say there was some untruth that entered into his transaction. He has to be so alert, so restless. What did I tell this person? What did I tell this second person? And I hope they don't meet each other. So values following in our scriptures, in Sanatana Dharma, is not to do good to the world. Following values is such that our mind becomes light and free. That mind will get inspired to do some contemplation. What are the different facets of mantra japa? What is the efficacy of mantra japa? Is there a difference between nama japa and mantra japa? And what are the meanings of popular mantras? Like Gayatri mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Should we chant it knowing the meaning or without the meaning is okay? If we need to chant with the meaning, then what is the meaning? All of this we will see tomorrow. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om